Now we will look at the last step of the IFRS 15 revenue recognition model as to when the revenue need to be recognized. Now the revenue as per IFRS 15, the revenue from the contract has to be recognized when the control is passed to the customer. Now the control of the entity of the obligation of the performance obligation is passed to the customer when the customer is entitled to its rights and benefits to the of the asset, and it can be done over a period of time or at a point of time. So there are two ways where how the entity can be, how the performance obligation can be performed: over a period of time and at a point of time. So what is the meaning of over a period of time? Over a period of time is satisfied when any one of the following conditions is met. So the customer is simultaneously receiving the benefits as the entity performs, means the customer is getting the right of the benefits or of the asset as the and as the entity is performing. So means they can continue to use the benefit and as the things are being done. So for example, in service contracts, the or the consultancy over a period of time, monthly service fee, AMC. So the entity is creating the rights, and the customer is getting advantage of it. The customer controls the asset enhanced or created by the entity. So means whenever we are creating any asset, the customer has all the rights to it. They control the benefits of it, and the entity is not creating the asset with an alternative use, means the entity cannot use this asset for any other purpose, and also has the enforceable right of the payment. So even if there is a default, the company entity would be able to get all his payments. So if all the three conditions are met, then the revenue would be recognized over a period of time. So the over a period of time would means that we would initiate a contract over the we will allocate the transaction price based on the performance over the period of contract, and once you choose this way, you cannot change it. So the you have to be careful in choosing the method of allocating the over in a period of time. At a point of time is indicated when the following are there: when the control is not transferred over a period of time, it is transferred at a given point of time. And these are the indicators. So indicators are if the entity has a present right to payment of the for the asset, means at this moment, not at the time of the contract. Then and the customer has the legal title or to the asset already, or the entity has performed its physical possession to the transfer the physical possession to the asset, or the customer has a significant risk towards the ownership of the asset. So if these are the conditions, then the performance is satisfied at the point of time whenever it happens. So if whenever the entity get the right to payment, entity the customer get the legal title, customer get the possession, customer has accepted the asset, then only the performance obligation would be turned satisfied, and then only the entity would be able to recognize its revenue. Here's an example of a real estate company, which is usually where the contract over a period of time and over at a point of time is considered. So this company is selling 50 apartments, as you can read on the screen, and they are all similar size, similar amount, similar contract. So it's selling for two contracts to client A and B. The basically is the total price is $100,000. At the time of contract they are selling $10,000, and after that there are two milestones where they will be paying 50,000 and 40,000. Milestone 1 and milestone 2, which is the completion. The other conditions are same, except the with the contract B, the supplier B, the contract specifies that the construction company cannot transfer this apartment to any other person, and they already have an enforceable right to the payment. Means if the client B defaults, they would be able to get all the contract price by law, and they are able to they would be able to complete the contract, and the customer has to take the delivery. So that is the contract, the additional terms with the contract. So the, let's say how, so the question is how we are going to recognize the cost. When the cost of construction is 80,000, means 35,000 in the first year and 45,000 in the second year. So 35%, 35 divided by 80% in the first year, and the rest is second year. So if we do the assessment in the contract A, you don't, the company does not have an enforceable right, means it cannot be over a period of time, because remember, over a period of time requires the company should not be having a enforceable, company should have an enforceable right to payment, and it should not be creating the asset which does not have an alternative use. So in contract A, the apartment can be sold to anyone. If there is a default, the company would not be able to call for the extra amount, but can only forfeit the already paid amount, which is definitely not sufficient, because it's only 50,000 plus 10,000, $60,000, and while the cost of the construction is $80,000. So in that case, company would not be able to recover their full amount. So the contract A is at a point of time only when the construction is finished and the revenue is recognized. His revenue is already, the flat is already transferred to the property owner. Now this is not in exactly in as the companies nowadays are following. A lot of construction companies, they allocate the revenue based on the construction period, which is this example is and defiance is a departure from that established principle. The contract can only be, the revenue can only be earned when the contract is finished and the legal title or the possession is already transferred to the buyer. While in the second case, where the company does not have a right to the to cannot transfer or sell anything else to the another client, and the customer also does not have a right to default. I mean, they can default, but the company would be able to legally recover their investment, recover the price. In this case, it will be considered as over a point of time, and revenue will be recognized based on the uh, allocate the completion, which is 43% and 56% based on the progress. So upon signing, they will be charging 10,000, going to the contract liability, and then when they get the progress payment B, they get also recognized to contract liability. At the end of year one, they debit the contract liability and credit the revenue, which is 43% of the total amount, 43,750, and the rest would be at the time of delivering the contract, where they will be able to adjust the balance of amount. So this is the one example of how the revenue should be recognized over a period of time or at a point of time, together with the example.